Hello everybody, this is Austin. I am with my friends Jaden and Silas. Say hello everybody.
Hello. I am.
Right off the bat,
Wow.
what a great
We
start.
are here with the Bucket Crab Breakdown, episode 1. This is a start of a podcast that me and my two friends are doing. We are basically just going to be talking about whatever we feel like talking about every single week. We do have some specific categories that we each like to talk about.
We have some
We'll get to that
surprises
later.
in store. We should say that.
Right,
Yes.
that's what I call it.
So first we'll talk about the name a little bit, and we'll give that to Jaden, as he's the one who kind of came up with the idea a little bit more.
Yep. My name is Jaden. Kind of put a name to the voice. So the name Bucket Crab Breakdown. We were brainstorming ideas for this podcast, and basically we took the phrase crabs in a bucket because all these crabs in a bucket, if you've ever gone fishing, crab fishing, they will try to escape, and anytime one of them gets close, the others will drag it down, hence the phrase crabs in a bucket. The crabs are constantly dragging each other down, so that's what our friendship is akin to. We're constantly trying to succeed to the top and then dragging each other down inadvertently. So that's where the name stems from.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys will all come to know that we are pretty much crabs in a bucket when we talk to each other. So yeah, there's that. We'll do some more detailed introduction. So, like I said, I'm Austin. I'm pretty much the one who came up with the idea for this. Basically 25 right now. I'm in the military, and
Don't say that.
yeah, just kind of doing our thing. Silas, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm Silas. I'm 25. For some reason that matters. And, I'm just a tag-along, I guess, on this little podcast adventure.
Yep, and as mentioned, I am Jaden, same age. I'm just here to talk to my buddies. I'm more of the tech enthusiast. I know we're all kind of into the technology, but I kind of deal with it a little more on the day-to-day. So that's kind of my background.
Yeah, we're all pretty much big nerds on our own little. We all are really into like some of the same subjects, but we all have our own like specific specializations, you know. So we're gonna go into kind of like what we did this week and everything. So for me,
Well, hang
this
on.
week has.
I'm
Okay,
sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but before we do that, I have a little surprise for the both of you that
Oh,
I
really?
threw together.
Okay.
This is an idea we wanted to talk about. Kind of a logo, maybe a mascot for the channel. So I took the liberty. I had an idea in my mind's eye. I was driving home yesterday. I had an idea. And then I thought of a better idea on top of that. So I would like to share that with the two of you.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me share my screen.
Okay.
What the actual fuck?
As
is
you can
that?
see, graphic design is my passion. So originally I thought of designing a logo with that was a bunch of crabs falling out of a bucket, and I thought that's a little too straightforward. So
Right,
no,
yeah, of course.
I decided
Of course.
to design Bucky, the bucket crab. That's him right there.
Bucky the bucket crab.
Yeah. So
I
as
love it.
you can see, I think he's a little squiggly. I'll give you that. There was a lot of trial and error. I was really
He only has
focused.
4 legs.
Hey, that's perspective. If you know a thing or two about perspective, You can't always see a crab's legs at all times.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. Not at every angle. Especially straightforward like this. So, I don't know. I just wanted to get like the initials BCB for bucket crab breakdown in there.
Oh my god, that's why his claws look messed up?
That's why his claws are all messed up, because I had claws that actually looked good, and I was like, they don't look like bees. So I had to redo it.
That is really good. And actually, I'm in love with that.
And
I hate it.
I designed it. Here's what it was yesterday. I don't know if you can see that. No, it's still showing the other one. I added the two little tape marks, just because I think it's funnier having the bucket taped to the crab as opposed to it just sitting there.
Oh, he's not holding the bucket?
No, it's taped to him. That's what the tape is. It's like little scotch tapes on him.
I thought he was carrying it.
No. He does not. How could he carry anything with his bee claws?
On his back.
That's why it's taped to his back.
Why, he could just carry. He's a gigantic crab, obviously.
No, he's not. He's normal sized crab with a normal sized bucket.
Audience, as you can see, we've already begun dragging ourselves down.
No, this is honestly a lot better of a reaction than I was expecting to get out of you two, especially Silas. I was expecting like more of like, what is this garbage? No, this is. We don't have to use that if we don't want to.
I like it a lot.
I'm initially just in shock.
About how good it is?
I'm still in shock from it.
About how good it is, or about like the vivid colors and the imagination?
I'll have to get with you afterwards.
Okay, yeah. You can.
I have no clue.
As I told you, graphic design is my passion, and you can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yep. Okay, so that was my surprise I had for you.
Yeah,
I could hardly sleep at night. I was shaking in bed with an anticipation, wanting to show my friends what I made.
That's pretty good though. Something to keep you up at night.
Are you just saying that, or are you saying that like a parent?
That's
no,
I love.
Like, that's pretty good, Timmy. I'm gonna put this right here on the fridge.
No, trust me, I couldn't do a better job than that. Like, I've drawn crabs before, and yeah, let's just leave it at that. So, we're just gonna go ahead and skip the "What'd you do this week" topic for this week. I didn't really do nothing.
What?
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't really do nothing this week. I had a
of
very
us did?
uneventful week. Okay, Silas, tell me what you did this week.
Shit, well, you got me on the spot.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I guess just mainly played some games, like The
What?
Sims and all that.
So what we do every week.
No, not usually.
Yeah.
We did watch Mortal Kombat, but we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least
We did
I
watch
will.
Mortal Kombat. Okay. Anything else you want to put out there, Jaden, before we move on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been obsessed with, as you know, factory games, kind of the idea of like automated games and whatnot. And it's gotten to a point where I've just been obsessed with. I want to know how steam engines work, like steam trains, like because they're such a weird idea, especially in the modern age. To think, how does like a steam locomotive? How did they run back in like the day? How did they figure this out? The technology out? How did they build them? And that's kind of like I've been like actually researching stuff like that this week because it's, and like because I love trains, and I've seen stuff automated in these factory games like Factorio that I've been playing. I just wanted to learn more about like how does steam power something. And
well, did you figure it out?
Kind of. I feel like I'm still not too knowledgeable, but
like I'm not a professional in it, but I believe it has to do with heat, right?
yeah. So yeah,
Like
let's see how much you know.
Heat is energy. Yeah, the heat's energy. So
Well-
they're with the steam. They are. I believe that. So that has to do with water. So they're heating up water. It's causing energy to release as the water evaporates, and so that goes into the engine and causes the run, right?
Well, yeah, there's a little more to it than that, but like yeah, you
Right.
with
But
a steam
layman's
train,
terms,
you
like-
have your coal and your water. You heat up the coal, make a fire, get put in the firebox, and this is an oversimplification, so don't kill me if I get a detail wrong. But you heat up
Right.
the
we
coal.
definitely do not go and design trains
Nope.
based on what we're talking about.
You heat up the coal in the firebox. It makes it boils the water that's on top of it in the boiler. That creates steam. The steam pushes against pistons, and it pushes them back and forth. And the way they're designed is that when it hits the apex of one direction, the steam will push it in the other direction and like change lanes. And it'll alternate lanes really fast, so the piston will go back and forth, and that's how it moves it basically. And that's just like a really cool idea to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like stuff I probably couldn't come up with. Or maybe I could. Who knows? Maybe if I went to school for engineering and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but like I mean, they didn't do that back in the day. You couldn't go to engineering school.
Right.
Whoever invented that had to.
They had to invent that. They had to invent engineering, pretty much. You know, you couldn't have engineering without engines.
I think you're losing me.
Were you about to say you couldn't have engineering without engineers? Because I think that's
No, he said something dumber.
That is what I was about to say. It was, and it was what I was about to say. Okay, yeah, no, I like that a lot.
You said you can't have engineers without engines.
Listen, it's kind of right.
Sure it is.
Going off that, you know, I probably didn't have as much of a productive week as you would. But
You had the most intelligent week.
I did start getting into something that actually is going to tie into our main topic for the week, and that is that I have recently got into DC Comics for the first time.
Just now.
Wait, no,
Yes,
that's not true
yeah.
though. You've told
But
me.
I've read some Injustice, right?
Yeah, that's all I was about to
But
say.
I wouldn't call that getting into it because I stopped and I didn't continue it.
Did you read Batman and consider yourself
I literally-
into DC?
Yes. Actually,
I knew it.
I've been reading it for a week now, which is
Which
good.
one?
I am actually. So let's go ahead and take it off the general topic. General topic for the week is superheroes, super ideas, super bugs is what we're going for.
What?
Yeah. So basically, we're talking about Batman, right? I decided a big thing I've always had a problem with comic books in general is that it is extremely hard to find a good jumping in spot, especially now after you've got thousands and thousands of comics. And I have done one of the most hard tasks ever, where I started Amazing Spider-Man with Amazing Fantasy, and I've read every single Spider-Man comic, including Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man, all the way up to 2001, from 1964 to 2001, and that is extremely difficult to do, especially with the older comics. They are very dated in their writing, the art, and the general just like what they're doing.
I thought you were gonna say good.
There's some really good comics throughout the years. That's for every single superhero, supervillain. They're all gonna have their own like really good comics of the year. But in general, you have just these repeated issues that are just kind of, they're not even really there for the story. They're just like, here's a bad guy, the good guy fights him, the end. But continue on from that though, with the Batman where I decided I was just going to start DC from the Rebirth soft reboot, where they basically got rid of the New 52. I'm not like extremely into DC yet, so I really don't know too much about that stuff.
So, sorry.
So I started reading Batman from the Rebirth part, and right now I'm still in the first major arc where we're getting into the Night of the Monster Men, but I have been loving it so far. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm more of a DC fan. I've read a lot of DC comics, not recently, but like I haven't read any of the Rebirth stuff. I was keeping up with the New 52 stuff for a while, and there were some good Batman stories in there, especially Court of Owls is particularly good for Batman.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Oh yeah.
But as far as New 52 stuff goes, it's kind of hit or miss, and I know it's kind of controversial too, general consensus. so I'm kind of interested in this rebirth stuff because I have not really kept up with it. So I am excited to hear that you're enjoying it. As somebody that doesn't know too much about DC, I might actually hop into that.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I've been really enjoying it, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to because I never really had I know about the characters, you know what I mean? I've watched the movies, I've watched the Batman movie and everything, so like I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I didn't expect, especially when people I heard someone told me that the Rebirth series was DC trying to become lighter and not as dark as it used to be.
Yeah, that's kind of my impression of it too, because New 52 was there were some dark and gritty stuff, and that was kind of their first attempt at resetting the universe for. That was I don't know, I don't want to say first, but that was another attempt at resetting the universe for more casual people that aren't into comics to kind of launch into it as a kind of launching off point. And they called it New 52 because it started with 52 lines of stories. So there was 52 different franchises. Like one was Batman, one was Justice League, one was Superman, and then there was 52 of them.
Right.
And then I think they did something and reset it to Rebirth, and now it kind of also includes the old timeline as well, so that all the stuff that that was built up prior isn't completely undone, because New 52 is completely starting anew, and that kind of is controversial if you're, getting rid of 75 plus years of canon material.
Yeah, they're pretty much just trying to go back into the original storylines and everything. But I was pleasantly surprised to find that it wasn't exactly as light as I thought it was going to be. I was thinking more. But I mean, it is Batman, so it's going to be dark. But I was thinking more along the lines of like for a younger audience per se, and I found that to be completely opposite. And that could just be because I'm reading Batman. It could, I could go and read Superman, and it could be directed towards kids or something. But I found that like in Batman, people are dying. Like in the first 3 issues I've read, like I would say like about 52 people have died. People are blowing up, and you see their limbs falling off.
The
and
new
stuff like that. People
52.
are killing themselves. Yeah, no, people are killing themselves. But it's not exactly like dark and like it's not gritty. You know what I mean? It's got that. It's like a lighthearted darkness to it. It's kind of weird. Something that I found was great. My favorite character so far from it though is literally Alfred. He is hilarious.
Yeah, Alfred's always been one of the best Batman characters, just in terms of like not only like the role he plays in Bruce Wayne's life, but also kind of what he does for Batman and also the superhero community as a whole. And even in Injustice and some of those other comics, like I know Batman is sometimes can be taken out of the picture or has other people that are like enemies like Superman, and Alfred will always side with Bruce Wayne. He'll always he's not afraid to go up and punch Superman in the face and call him out. Which like I always respect that. And he's the only one that's like able to call Bruce Wayne on some of his crap. Because definitely. It's a really good. I'm gonna quote a conversation that they had in, I believe it was issue 3 of the 2016 series that I'm reading, which is that's the Rebirth. It's been 2016. But basically, Duke Thomas, who I'm not exactly sure who that is exactly yet. It's kind of like, I think he's an older character but he's in the series, so I don't really know exactly who he's supposed to be. He's like a replacement for Robin, but he's not going to be Robin or something. But anyways, he's talking about these 2 new super beings with Bruce Wayne, and Bruce goes up to this clock tower, not clock tower, like a grandfather clock, and it opens up to an elevator. Of course, Batman gets in it, and Duke's like, "Are you sure you're gonna take the 2 super beings to Gordon? You trust them?" And Batman pretty much says, "I don't even trust Alfred." And then like, and Alfred just looks so sad when he says that, and he says, when Bruce was 10, he asked me for a ninja katana, a dueling katana, and
because I thought it was more age appropriate, I got him a wakizashi. He has been this way ever since. I thought that was pretty funny. Like, it was super humorous.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was like really loving that about it. Silas, I know you've had a lot of experience with Batman too. Like, what are your
well,
your
first I was
opinions
going to
on it?
say, I think Alfred should have got him that katana, because I would like to see a panel in a comic where Batman says, "Now I'm motivated." But anyway, thank you for the sandbag, by the way.
Yeah, I just let it drop.
I didn't know what you're talking about.
I heard it and I was like,
Sorry.
I'm not even gonna talk. But
So, I guess my history with Batman is mainly, at least comic-wise, is the Court of the Owls, or whatever the hell it's called. I read that one, and then most of the things I know about Batman is video games and movies. That's about it.
Yeah.
Does he have shark repellent?
sometimes.
No.
Okay.
When
Then I'm not
he might
interested.
have some callbacks to it. From what I'm reading, it doesn't sound like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
there's
They're-
always
they're
like
not gonna call
the
it
the Batcave's always been weird because there's always like a giant penny. There's always like a giant
there's a giant
T-Rex.
dinosaur right
yeah,
now.
he has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Okay, yeah, the giant dinosaur's always been there too.
Oh, okay.
The dinosaur and the penny are the two big ones.
Where did he get that penny?
I don't know.
Was it from Penguin?
I don't know, but I do know it's a penny's
It's a
worth.
giant penny.
It's a huge penny.
Probably just bought it.
No, he would.
Why would Batman buy a giant penny?
I don't know. Batman's rich.
Batman's
No,
not rich.
Bruce Wayne is rich.
Uh huh. Now you're gonna tell me that they're not the same person.
They're not.
Yeah, I don't know where you're
Just
getting
like
your.
Clark Kent and Superman are not the same person.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's always surprising how Clark's able to like write about him in the newspaper and all that.
Oh, it's pretty biased.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm picking up. Let me pick up my notes real quick. We're talking
You gonna
about
cut
DC and Batman. Yeah, and then so talk about like the industry though too. So like not just comics, but like the superhero industry in general. I was wanting to get into that a little bit
Yeah,
because we're kind of seeing this renaissance. It's been going on for a few years, obviously, but it has been like a renaissance. You know, ever since Iron Man came out in theaters. What is it like?
2008
Over 15 years ago.
or 2006,
Or
2008, something like that.
Around that time, yeah, something
Yeah,
like
around there.
15 years ago. That's completely changed like everything about superheroes. You know what I mean? That kind of brought adults into it again. I feel like.
No, the adults
Like
were always
everyone.
there. They were the loudest minority of the group.
Yeah, but they were a
You know
minority.
that's true.
That's what.
Right, but I don't think they were really out there until the movie started getting big too. Like you would have seen them at comic stores, yeah. But I have never, like until started watching the movies, that wasn't a big talk amongst everyone. I don't, you know, maybe back in the day, like in the
Well,
80s,
there's always
90s,
been-
people were talking about comics all the time, but
There's always been
Go ahead.
superhero movies here and there. I know you got the Christopher Reeve Superman. You got like
Yeah.
right, yeah,
the Nolan Batman films. You got some various shows that are really popular. I know, especially growing up as kids, there were a lot of cartoons and whatnot, Teen Titans, Spider-Man,
Titans is a big one.
Static Shock, stuff like that. And Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2, early 2000s. So
Yes.
there's always been here and there, always been superhero stuff. I don't think it's ever been gone, but and even before then, you got the early Batman films with Michael Keaton and stuff and whatnot. So it's always been here or there, but I think just the rise of the absolute titan known as Marvel and the Marvel Studios kind of like showed the rest of the superhero market like what could be done.
right, yeah.
So
That's kind of what I was going for, is because I've seen like I'm sure you guys know about the bankruptcy of Marvel, like in the 90s and early 2000 era. You know, they were having a really hard time with their comics, and then boom, Iron Man came out. Completely changed, right? Like, I think they're doing better than ever right now. But talking it like into like the industry, like how do you guys see the future? You guys have any opinions on that, or like maybe what's gonna like even like in the far future, in the near future, like
near future?
It seems like everything is getting. We're gonna get more TV shows, more movies, and that's gonna be the main focus.
I think that's probably a smart thing to switch to TV's shows as opposed to movies all the time, because I think we're going to reach eventually a critical mass where the superhero fatigue is just going to set in, because I know I already have superhero fatigue, but I'm also more of a crotch than, like a crotchety person than most people.
Right.
So
right.
I feel like we will get to that point eventually, but switching it up with TV shows and different genres, especially I know you got WandaVision, you've got animated stuff. I know there was a MODOK trailer I just watched not too long ago that's trying to be more comedy.
MODOK's back?
Yep. Yeah, it kind of had a weird animation. It was kind of looking like people were saying like Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it is it's more like a stop motion look, but what I was getting at is, yeah, I think we are going to reach a critical mass where superhero movies will go out of style, but things like that help slow that. Things that change the genres, the animation style, that just kind of do something different as opposed to the cookie cutter standard superhero movie where, oh, you got the origin story, you do the thing.
Marvel instituted, which was annoying?
Well, it's not like they invented it. Every superhero movie ever has done it.
Oh, but they drove that into the dirt.
Yeah, but that's just, I think, just due to the quantity of it. I think it's just due to seeing so many different movies back to back to back, as opposed to just every so often. But shows like shows and movies and whatnot that kind of break that mold, I think will do a lot to elongate that lifespan.
Like movies that like they're still superhero movies, but they changed the formula. I believe those are almost always going to do amazingly well in comparison to some other things. Like like Deadpool.
But like I mean, you can't just change
insane.
the formula and be instantly successful. See every DC movie in the last couple of years.
You're right about that. I haven't been big into the DC movies.
Like, and there's some hit and miss ones, and there are some good ones that follow the formula, like Shazam, and then there's some ones that don't follow the formula that aren't as good, like the Justice League, specifically the theatrical version.
What about Man of Steel? That followed.
I liked Man of Steel, but that's not. I will admit, Man of Steel is not a good movie, and it did follow the formula for the most part.
It didn't?
It did.
Oh.
I'm not about this.
I also enjoyed Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'm not about to be like, oh, Man of Steel's the next Citizen Kane. I'm not about to sit here and claim that.
It's the next Casablanca. That's a fucking choice.
Yep. Okay. Man of Steel is the next great movie. It's the next Wizard of Oz. And in this essay...
Yeah. I think, going to the TV shows more is going to be a great thing. Especially if there's imagine the movies, right? The movies could be these big events, just like Infinity War, Age of Ultron, that kind of stuff. And like DC could do that too, where the big events they could even do a Flashpoint or any other stuff that's come out like that in movies. But in the TV shows, those can follow the comic book.
Well, that's kind of
format, Like I know the Flash has had a good show, and they've done that with I think Arrow. Well, Flash and Arrow, where they kind of like work together and they have these crossover events and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a few different universes in DC shows. I know there's the Flash one you talked about with Green Arrow, and I think Legends of Tomorrow I think is also in there. Then you have the universe that's like the Doom Patrol and Teen Titans are in the same universe.
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol
was a whole nother universe.
I don't know if it's the same universe or not, but like they don't intersect. But Teen Titans and Doom Patrol intersect with each other specifically, and they mention each other because Beast Boy inherently has ties to both the Teen Titans and the Doom Patrol. And I recommend watching Doom Patrol too, Austin, just as an aside. But that's...
Yeah, isn't that one based on the comic book written by Gerald Way?
No, that's Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
That's something. That's a different
Completely
superhero
different.
story entirely. I could see how you get it
Okay.
mixed up, but yeah, because they have similar
Right, yeah.
tones.
I mean, do you know my favorite part of DC Comics is, Austin?
No, what is it?
It's the multiverse.
You like the multiverse stuff?
I think he's being
No.
sarcastic.
I hate it.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when they get into the whole, like, Earth 162 is just slightly different
Yeah.
from Earth 161. And I think Marvel has that same situation, maybe?
Well, they do it as
Right.
the
but
natural
Then
extension to the fact that you have so many different shows and movies,
Right.
and to keep them all canon, you kind of have to have them as different universes. And like, because like the Adam West Batman's not going to be the same as the Christopher Nolan Batman, and that's not going to be the same as the new Zack Snyder's version of Batman. Like, but they all have to be canonically tied together, and especially in the comic world, because the comic world is a little more detailed than the movie versions are. But
All I'm saying is I know why the multiverse is there. I just don't have to accept it.
that's fair. I see it more as a necessary evil.
Yeah, that's you have so many writers who are going to be writing their own viewpoints on these heroes and these villains and everything, you know, like, and Marvel has like had a big issue, and they try to recover that too by introducing, I believe it was Secret Wars, where they destroyed a bunch of the universes and collided them together. Like they had a Ultimate Universe. You guys are aware of that? Like from the early 2000s. I actually read every comic book from the Ultimate series, which is pretty crazy. But like I like that because that was a good point for new readers to come in. And then they decided, you know, instead of having these two universes, we're just going to collide them together. All the old people, or I say most of the old characters, are now also interacting with the newer characters. Like you have the Ultimate Spider-Man, who is Miles Morales, is now working with Peter Parker in the original universe, and they have their own comic book called Spider-Men. They've had a couple editions of that, you know, and I like that a little bit, especially if they introduce. It's like they had to have a new universe that could give them ways to retell the story in a modern setting without disrupting the fans of the old stuff, right? And then also able to change it up and create new characters, because the newer audience isn't going to be as invested in these characters as the old one, because it's only been around for a couple of years, you know, not 40, 60, 80 years as in some comics.
Like Superman?
Superman, you know, Batman and everything like that is old.
Well,
Those are like 80 years old.
the case I wanted to make to Silas about the alternate universes and the multiverse and whatnot kind of thing is that it allows
Please
them
stick with the multiverse.
it allows them to make unique stories and more fun situations without absolutely destroying the canon.
Do not get me wrong, some of those stories are good.
That's like, you couldn't have a Marvel Zombies if it was in the main universe, because then that would mess up everything. But you can do it in a side universe where, oh yeah, they become zombies and what would happen and yada yada yada. I think that's kind of a cool concept that it allows people to do side stuff and kind of play around with the typical comics stories more than they normally would.
But how long do we have until some big bad company comes in, takes that property, and says, all this multiverse stuff never happened?
You mean a company that would be named after a rodent?
Not named after a rodent, named after a man.
Named after a man?
What are you implying?
Yeah, which one are you implying?
I know, no, you're talking about the same thing, Austin. You're just confused.
I am confused. I am confused.
Disney!
They're
our
talking about
favorite
Disney.
company.
Oh yeah, Walt Disney.
It's
duh.
not. Yeah, it's not Mickey Disney. It's
Mickey Disney.
Disney Mouse.
Mickey Mouse Disney's Playhouse, or whatever the hell it's called. What's it called?
Yeah. So, but like,
House of Mouse.
but like, I think. Well, but you can't like acknowledge a multiverse in a movie franchise. I don't blame them for that. Like, you don't want to like.
I think
and,
that would be a bad idea.
Like you
have
could you could do it well, but you shouldn't start with that. Because like, imagine like the first Iron Man movie. and being like, oh, we have all
They have
these
to explain to you
multiverses.
that this is a different universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, this is a different universe than the Iron Man you guys know. by
That's
the
just
way.
Well, because
unnecessary.
all they had to do for the Star Wars universe is they never had to acknowledge it. The original movies never did,
Mhm.
or at least the prequels never did. So why would they have to? Instead, they're just like, all this stuff, all this interesting stuff. Granted, there's a lot of trash in there too, but a lot of this interesting stuff, just get rid of it. We're gonna make our own extended universe because we don't care, and we don't want to pay those people that wrote those stories and all that crap because it's their original characters. We want to come up with our own, but cherry pick the ones we like.
I think
And
we're
then
getting
just-
into a rabbit hole here.
Yes, we are.
It's a good rabbit hole to dig down.
With that, we're going to move on into. I want to know what your guys' favorite heroes are, and why.
Ooh,
How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
putting us on the spot like that.
I know,
Well,
right?
Let's
Don't
start.
worry, I'll be
let's
throwing mine
start
out there
with
too.
the one who is asking the question. What are yours?
Ooh.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you guys already know.
Mm,
Spider-Man?
Mine's
Batman.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Batman might come in there a close second or something. Who knows yet? I like Green Lantern, but I haven't
Oh
started
my
reading
God,
the
which
comics
one?
yet. I know more. Unfortunately, I know more about the Jon Stewart one.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Because of the animated series.
It's the best
From
answer.
back then. But I know that Hal Jordan is like the big one, And unfortunately, all I know about Hal Jordan is what I watched with what's his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yep. But okay, so Spider-Man though, he's my favorite hero, and there's reasons though. So Spider-Man isn't always the strongest guy out there. He's also not always the fastest or the smartest, and he also messes up a lot. But that's kind of like why I like him, is because he in a universe of supermen, heroes who go into space and destroy these giant monsters and everything. You have a character who most of the time stays down in the streets with the normal day people and saves them. Not always from evil villains. A lot of time it is, but sometimes he saves them from either just getting hit by a car or something simple like that. Sometimes he literally just helps an old person across the road or recovers, like, someone dropped a wallet and he goes and gets that for him. That kind of stuff. That's what I like about Spider-Man, is he is the everyday man's hero, pretty much.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I think that's
Exactly.
kind of the appeal of it,
Exactly.
yeah.
It is. And that was like when they created the character, that's what they were kind of going for. Especially with they're like, oh, a teenager superhero. There's like, they're like, back then when they were created in the 1960s, 64, like that was a brand new thing that they were messing with. A lot of people didn't think it was going to be good, and then guess what? It became super big. Yeah, he's kind of my guy. I love that he's got this whole, with great power comes great responsibility, which I firmly believe in. Like, that if you are able to change the universe around you, you do have this responsibility to use it in a way to make things better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end my thing there. Do you guys have any questions about that, or?
No, I've known you long enough. I know your love of Spider-Man. I know
yeah.
you have a tattoo of Spider-Man and whatnot, and
Yeah.
like it's a shock to nobody that nobody that knows you, that Spider-Man is your
right.
favorite.
Right, exactly. Everybody who knows me knows who my favorite character is.
That's basically your introduction. You say, "Hi, I'm Austin. My favorite hero is Spider-Man," and they're like,
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
have
"Sir, this is
tattoo
a
of
Wendy's."
Spider-Man. Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Which universe one is your favorite? Because that's the one I don't know. Is it Ultimate?
No, it would be the original.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Superior.
No, I think Doc Ock was cool playing as Spider-Man, but the normal Peter Parker will always be my favorite. I did enjoy Ultimate a lot, though. a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. It was unique, especially I had read all the old issues and everything, and then boom, I have this new modern day Spider-Man who, spoiler alert, dies in like 100 issues or something like that.
Oh,
right?
Isn't that the Miles Morales one? That dies?
Yeah, it's when they bring Miles Morales, and Miles Morales was like, I think he was
15.
I think he was like, at the time though, he was like 12 or 13.
Oh shit.
He was really young, and Peter was only like maybe 15 or 16. So they hadn't grown up. Right now, Peter Parker is old. And comics are really bad about this, not aging their heroes. And I know why. It's because you have to have the same heroes in the thing, or else, like if you have them get old and die, no one's gonna buy the issues anymore. You know what I mean? But that's the thing is, like, you've had Spider-Man has been dealing with his problems for, what's it say, 1963. So 60 something years. Aunt May's been dying for 60 years. Like, there's only so much I can listen to Aunt May die. So in like the Ultimate Universe, Aunt May's a younger woman.
She is.
And it's kind of weird. Like in the newer stuff, I haven't read the latest stuff, but I know that Aunt May even married J.J. Simpson's, not Simpson.
J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson. I don't know if it's J.J. Simpson. But J.J. Jameson, freaking, she married his dad in the comics, and I was like, that's so weird.
Wait a minute,
that
what?
guy is also old. So his dad has to be like 100, right? And it doesn't really, I don't know, they just kind of change stuff like that. So those are kind of like my gripes with the latest stuff. But Silas, go ahead and tell me about yours.
Oh boy, my favorite hero. I'd have to say Superman.
Really?
Yeah, the classic Superman.
I respect
Mainly
it.
Why?
because mainly
Yeah.
it's just because it was a family thing. Like everyone grew
Okay.
up liking Superman, especially the Christopher Reeve one.
Mhm.
Right, so you watched all the movies and everything.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
just
res-
like that.
I
he's
respect the. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But he's essentially just the symbol of peace or whatever. Just like he's the ultimate superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
he's
what I
just
was
like-
gonna say. Is that like I love the old Superman that's like down to earth. He's just somebody to look up to. He's like the Boy Scout kind of guy. That's like,
Oh,
we're
he's
going to
super a Boy Scout.
like I always remember the panel of like the cop in the park at night, and he's like, we're gonna be safe with you hero around here tonight, and he's like, no, with the two of us heroes around here every night. I'm like, oh.
It's shit like it's stuff like that with Superman. It's like, no, I'm not just a hero. The cops or whatever, firefighters, all those guys, you're also heroes. You're all really cool dudes. You, Jimmy Olsen, you're pretty all right. Lois, not today. We can talk about holding hands some other day.
Wait till after
Excuse me,
marriage, my dear.
Yeah. Superman is just the old one anyway. He's just plain and simple. He's like, I'm gonna just be a superhero, and when I'm Clark Kent, none of that super crap. I'm a normal guy who writes for the Daily Bugle. Or Planet. Sorry. I wish he wrote for the Daily
Is that what the name of the it's the Daily Planet?
Yeah, it's a Daily
Yeah.
Planet.
It has a
And the
giant
Spider-
planet
and the
on it.
one in Marvel is the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the
Oh,
real question
yes.
comes up, who ripped off who first?
I don't even think it matters. They're both unoriginal at the end of the day.
Jaden.
Okay. So, well, hold on. Superman, he's kind of always been like my least favorite hero, and it's probably just because of that power level. Like, I've always just thought he was just too powerful for me to be interested in his stuff. Like if he's just going to win the day every day, you know what I mean?
Well, isn't that the case with every superhero though most of the time. Like
Right,
even
but
Superman's
Spider-Man,
lost.
yeah, but Spider-Man loses half his battles. Like, he eventually will win at some point.
Yeah, but at the you
some
still
point,
know
but,
you're gonna win. Because mainly with Superman, it's just Kryptonite literally turns him into just a normal dude. So anyone just takes a tiny little rock and goes, "Ha! There's nothing he can do," which is the case with 90% of his crap. Is Lex Luthor? Someone's gonna be like, "Hey Superman, what's up?" And he's like, "I'm here to beat you up, dude." And he's like, "No, you're not. I have kryptonite." And he's like, "Oh!" And you're dealing with a bunch of issues where it's like, "Oh my God, what's Superman gonna do?" And plus, he's pretty weak to magic also. So Shazam could kick his rear to God knows when.
I wasn't aware that he had a weakness to
It's
magic type
It's not
stuff.
like he's weak to magic. It's just he's not like he's not like strong against magic. So like he has the same level of vulnerability to magic that anybody else would, basically.
Oh, okay.
So like because he's so strong against everything else, it could be taken as a weakness.
It might as well just be considered a weakness. But
Yeah, it might as well. But
there was a movie. I don't know if it ever was a comic, but it was like Superman versus Shazam.
oh, they fought a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, they fought a couple times, and Black Adam was actually who showed up, kicked Superman's ass pretty hard, and Superman's like, "What the hell's going on? Do you have kryptonite? No, it's just magic. Nothing I can do." Like Zatanna, just some normal magician lady, could probably beat up Superman because she knows magic.
Really? Okay.
Like
Well,
Maybe that might make me like rethink the character a little bit then.
like Doomsday, who's an ancient Kryptonian, in case you didn't know that. Which is why I don't think he can fly.
I did not know that.
Well, he eventually learns to fly.
I do know that like Superman had like a power decrease.
Well,
When
recently?
No, way back in the day. I think it was because he was able to make clones of himself, and then an asteroid of kryptonite was falling to Earth, and one of his clones sacrificed itself to destroy the asteroid.
I've
And
never
so
heard
he
of the
pretty much-
clones.
He pretty much lost the powers associated with that like clone. Is it dumb? Yes, I think it's 100% the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, is it dumb that this is not
Well,
even a slight against Spider-Man? Is it dumb that like the Vulture created clones of Peter Parker's parents and then sucked out their life
Yes.
force and he became
Yes.
immortal?
Yes, it's super dumb.
It's why
There's so
I
much
hate
of it that's
comics
dumb.
too, 'cause
There's
they
so
have
much of it
some
that's so
dumb
dumb,
plot
but
lines.
at the same time, like, other things can't get away with that kind of stuff. And
But
it's
I hate
it's
cloning.
entertaining. Clones
comes
are the
to
worst thing to do. I think that was like a big 90s thing.
And plus, if you remember, the big
80s and
comic
90s.
was the death and return of Superman
Yeah.
when he was killed by Doomsday, who I think is the only person to kill Superman so far. Like he handled Darkseid could kick Superman's ass. Doomsday can. Brainiac can. What's another one? What was that robot called? Jaden, do you remember?
What robot?
There was a robot that had kryptonite in it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Crypto, his super dog, could beat him up.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he could. Superman has a super horse, if you did not know either.
What?
Yeah, there's super pets that Superman has. That's not a joke.
Oh,
Well,
no.
Batman also has the Bat Hound.
Ace the Bat Hound?
Ace the Bat Hound.
He does?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Never watch Crypto, the super dog?
Yeah.
No.
Because
Like-
Ace
like
the
I
Bat
said-
Hound was in it.
Like I said earlier, this
Sparky the
me
cat.
getting into comics now has been kind of like my biggest
DC, so.
introduction into the DC stuff. Like my brother Josh, he watched Justice League of America, like on the cartoon and everything. Like he watched all that stuff. He watched the Teen Titans more than I did.
Teen Titans was good.
Everyone watched Teen Titans, but I didn't watch it like religiously. You know what I mean? I didn't
I
watch
didn't
every
either.
single thing. I didn't even know what was going on half the time because I was just like, this stuff is kind of funny. But yeah, moving on to Jaden.
Yep. I'm just gonna
Oh,
rapid
yours.
fire through them in case I got
Yeah.
I got top 3, and
Okay.
I feel like the
Oh, way to
conversation could
bring
be
in
dragging.
3 of
Well, I'm gonna rapid fire through him. Number 3 is Batman. Number 2, you got Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle specifically. Number 1 will always be my man, and it's not sentimental like the two of you. It is Plastic Man. He will always be my OG. I love Plastic Man and how dumb he is, and how, like, just his attitude about things.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that because you talked about it before, and like we've talked about, I know that you love dumb powers.
I just love people that do creative things with what they're given.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Plastic Man
exactly,
is kind of the icon of that in the DC universe, where he just kind of does things outside of the realm of what others would even think to do with his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And his mentality is also weird too, because he's not like a strict hero. Like, he is kind of a hero, but he kind of like hates Batman for turning him, because he was a villain who, depending on what canon you're reading, it's he gets covered in like acid or some chemical, and Batman, he was just a henchman for some villain, and Batman was the one that like accidentally did it to him or pushed him into it or something, and that's why he got set.
Chemical X.
Yeah, so that's how he got his stretchy powers, and it's less stretching as opposed to just like actually literally control over every atom in his body.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of resents Batman for it, and he also kind of loves Batman for it, and it's this weird relationship he has with Batman that I kind of love too, where the two of them have this. Batman despises Plastic Man, but kind of also feels responsible for him.
Right.
So he kind of has to look after him, and Plastic Man kind of like is like, okay, I might as well learn from Batman, but also is like, I kind of want to do my own thing, kind of steal and stuff like that. That I think is really interesting. But it's Plastic Man's just fun. I think he's a lot of fun. He has some great moments in Injustice. He's more about family as opposed to saving the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I really I don't know. I always respect when like they kind of have their own ambitions and goals, even if they're not the loftiest things in the world.
When they start feeling like a real person, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys
That's
are
always a good way to get
Hawkeye.
into it.
I have no opinion either way regarding Hawkeye.
Yeah, I really don't know much about him. I'll be honest.
I
know he's a guy who's a hawk.
No.
No.
That's
That's Hawkman. And Hawkeye is...
Hawkman's way cooler.
Oh, Hawkeye. I thought you said Hawk guy.
No.
Yeah, Hawkeye, the guy who shoots arrows in Marvel.
I think this is a good place to end this conversation.
It is. I was thinking so too.
Let's end on that
Hawkeye's
note.
always a good ending point.
Yeah. So we're gonna continue on into Bug of the Week.
Bug of the week!
Bug of the week?
Bug of the Week.
Bug of the week, right?
I actually have 2 bugs of the week for the first week.
That's cheating.
That's
It is.
bugs of the week.
But I
then.
get to make the rules, and this week we're doing 2 bugs, and it's because I couldn't decide on these powered up bugs to talk about.
What do you mean powered
Which
up
one I
bugs?
wanted. Yeah. So basically, we're gonna go first into it. We're gonna talk about Darwin's bark spider. Now, this guy is really cool, especially considering it, like, you know how I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man has really strong webbing that he's made himself, right? Now, the Darwin's bark spider is really cool in that regard because their web is the strongest material found on Earth. Literally 25 times stronger than steel.
Wait, even
I'm not
compared to
even
like
kidding.
diamond?
Yes.
Wait, or strongest, not hardest, I guess. Like,
Right here.
How do you
I'm
quantify
reading this
strongest?
from the Wikipedia. The spider silk is the toughest biological material ever studied, over 10 times tougher than a similarly sized piece of Kevlar.
well, hang on.
average-
There was a lot
Yeah.
of quantifiers in that sentence you read as opposed to what you told me earlier. You
So.
Okay, let's go into it. Go ahead.
one, what was it? Bioorganic? Biological material, and 2, it's ones that they've studied.
Toughest material on Earth.
No,
right?
it's a,
I did say that.
yes, you did.
And
You
it's-
said
yes.
toughest material on Earth.
Yeah. Well, it's the toughest biological material ever studied.
Studied
Is
by
that
who?
equivalency to a spider? Or like the insect world? Or just in general?
I think it's in general, like anything that's biological.
So if I took that spider's like silk, I couldn't split it in half?
Not with your baby arms.
Probably not. So the average toughness of the fiber is 350. I think it's megajoules per meter cubed. Which means it makes it twice as tough as any other spider silks known. Which, I'll be honest with you, twice as tough. Honestly, this is getting a little bit more powerful than I thought. Because twice as tough as any other spider silk known. I feel like normal spider silk is pretty weak.
No, spider silk in general is considered the strongest, like...
Is it?
Yes. In general, it's the strongest fiber in the insect world because insects can't break through it, usually.
Mm-hmm. Right. In relativity to like size and weight and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why when you say
exactly. So, like,
it has the strongest thing on
right.
Earth, it's like, should that be compared to a spider?
So yeah, this spider doesn't actually have the strongest stuff. Like, he's not harder than diamond, but like in relativity terms, like if you were to make it as dense.
Let's say if you made that like, spider human size.
Like, and they were talking, and they say it over here, over 10 times tougher than a similarly sized piece of Kevlar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty tough. You know, it's pretty tough. But what's cool about these guys? They are called Darwin's bite spider. So you can assume who found them. You know, Charles Darwin.
Darwin on Galapagos Island.
Is it just the one, or does he have more?
It's just the one spider. No, it's a species of spider. Yeah, and they are from. Trying to find that real quick. Madagascar.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Madagascar.
I know, right? They're pretty crazy. So they decided the reason that the webs are so strong is because to compete against all the other spiders, they don't just do theirs from like tree to tree and like limb to limb, branch to branch. What they do is they'll just make these giant webs over river banks. So from one end of a riverbank to the other end of a riverbank. Damn. You're talking like 20, 30 feet that they'll have this line go out, which is insane.
Have you heard of the ogre spider?
I have not.
Oh, well, here's a little interesting factoid about how they catch their prey, because they don't really spin webs either. In relation to the bark spider, of course. They will hang from a web and create a net and put it in their hands, and then use it as a net, and just, when the prey is underneath it, catches it in the web, and then fucks off.
Really?
So it's essentially
that's pretty cool.
Just catching it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But the Darwins, so they do create a web. Like, it's not like they don't.
Yeah,
they go from.
Both of those create webs, despite what you said, Silas.
Yeah.
The ogre spider doesn't make a web, like a web, and just sits there and lets something fall in it.
But he's making a web in his hands.
It's a tiny little net.
It's a web.
Dude, don't try and just deny that the ogre spider has an interesting way of catching prey.
I'm saying that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is
but
cool.
That's a web he's using.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I just meant a generic web.
It's just so interesting. Like this is a very specific task that the spider has become very good at doing. You know what I mean? Like no other spider does that I'm aware of. But I'm also not like a entomologist. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of reading what I find on like BBC and Wikipedia and stuff like that. But a cool thing I thought about, like, because it's so specific, like they said that they think that the web and the strong silk are thought to have co-evolved from the spider at the exact same time as the spider adapted to the habitat, which is super cool. Like, so the spider's like, yeah, I can't compete with these other guys, so I need to make these webs where they're not making webs, right? And he's like, where can I do that? Oh, I'll do it over the river, right? And then, well, I need stronger webbing for that. And then eventually they just keep creating stronger webbing, which is kind of like, Spider-Man creating his like little special formula and everything.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I like that.
I thought we were done talking about
Number
Spider-Man.
Number 2. This guy is so cool. Okay, so this is the Onthophagus taurus, or as layman's term they call it, the Taurus scarab, which is a type of like dung beetle.
That sounds
the dung beetle is really
super
cool because it has the strongest like shell that like any other beetle has.
There you
go.
What's
Maybe
stronger?
even any bug.
The Taurus beetle shell or the web of the bark spider?
Ooh.
See, that's interesting because that would technically be biological matter, right?
Yeah, so it would be...
Well, right here it says that the shell of the beetle couldn't even be cracked if you stepped on it.
Okay.
And that people make, like jewelers have made, like jewelry out of their shells, but it says that they require drills to drill through it.
Okay, so it's not like unbreakable hard, but it's still
Right,
pretty hard.
right. It's not unbreakable hard, but it is,
It's
like,
harder than like
you know what I mean?
what you would need in nature for most of the time.
Yeah, they're also considered to be some of like the strongest like bugs known to man so far. Talk about they can pull a weight of 1,000 times its own body mass, which its body mass is like extremely small. But, 1,000 times is pretty strong.
Oh yeah, it is a dung beetle.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and like apparently, people said that the jewelers and stuff, they've actually made living jewelry out of them, because apparently they're really good at playing dead, like so good at playing dead that people just turn them into jewelry while they're alive, and they just sit on people's shirts.
That sounds horrid.
That is.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Like,
yeah.
Imagine going to like some gala, and like, oh, who designed your shirt? And it's like you look at the other person's shirt, and it's like wiggling around and like trying to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
yeah, I saw as a picture of it. I saw it, and the guy they bejeweled it.
the beetle or
They
the shirt?
bejeweled the shell. The beetle, yeah, the beetle had the bejeweled things on it.
So
and
it can't be
was
that
just
strong
sitting
if
on
they're
some-
bejeweling the
If you're just
beetle
gluing
shell.
jewels on it,
No,
doesn't
that's-
matter.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what I was okay.
I don't know exactly what bejeweling is.
It's pretty much that.
It's just gluing, right?
Yeah, essentially. In
Yeah, that's what I thought.
simple
So-
terms, you're just putting jewelry on it. You're not drilling shit in there.
Right. But basically, you have could you imagine having a living jewelry?
No, and I don't want
Like
it.
you go to
Yeah,
the
I would
store
not
and
want
buy
it.
a beetle to put on your shirt. Like
That sounds horribly inhumane.
it is. Well, I think it's believed in the entomology department that that most bugs, probably not all of them, do
Don't
not
you
have
dare say they don't feel pain.
that they do not have the same pain receptors as we do. So we're not sure if they do feel pain in the same way that we do. We do know that they know if they are damaged and they know to struggle, but I'm not exactly sure if they do feel pain.
They
in
know
the
to
same way that we
scream
do.
out in pain, but they don't know what pain is.
Have you ever heard a bug scream out in pain before?
There are some.
Yeah.
I don't think I've.
And you're like, what the hell was that?
Okay.
You
I
ever
have
step on an
never
ant
heard
and it
that.
go wee?
Nope.
Did you guys not watch Eight-Legged Freaks? Those guys made tons of noises.
Did you not watch
Oh
Ant
yeah,
Z?
I want to watch that.
Ant Z. Sounds like
But
Gen
yeah.
Z.
But those are the two the bugs that we had for the week.
Bug of the week.
Bug of the week.
Bug of
yep.
the week. More like bugs of the week, am I right?
Yeah. Which one did you guys think were cooler? Which bug did you guys like?
Well,
I like beetles.
I like spiders, so I'm gonna have to go with the bark spider.
Yeah. I like the spider a lot too, but I did think that the beetle was more of like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are people turning that into jewelry? That was
Because
pretty
it's cool.
And also,
yeah, it is.
I have a big fear of scarabs, considering they can crawl inside your skin.
Spiders can do that too.
No, they can't.
Well, it's not every scarab that does that, but I'm sure there is some.
Spiders just rot
Aren't
your
they?
skin.
Are those ones extinct?
I was just talking about the mummy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's probably about all I know about scarabs. Mostly is from The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Blue Beetle. But yeah, we'll go on to the next segment. That'll be with you, Silas.
Oh yes. Welcome to my little corner called the Mostly Informed Opinions of Silas.
I want to be in Silas's corner.
Most people don't. Anyway, so my topic is a film we watched last night, and it is, of course, the classic Mortal Kombat 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just want to go off by saying I didn't hate this movie. I wanted to hate it, and I mostly didn't until I'd say about 45 minutes to the end, when things just went off the rails. But yeah, without spoiling it, for someone who's supposed to, who wanted to hate it and came out enjoying it for the most part, I would say it's pretty good and you should check it out if you haven't. And I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10, with 5 being middle ground. So 7 is pretty good. Is it better than Godzilla vs. Kong? God, no. What could be? But anyway, yeah. So
what were some of your main nitpicks with the movie? I know you said 45 minutes in. What happened that told your mind, wow, I hate this movie now?
And before we continue with that, if you haven't watched the movie yet and you're wishing to avoid spoilers, go ahead and go watch that before you continue with this podcast. You're good, Silas.
Oh, so my biggest nitpick is, unfortunately, and this is not the actor's fault, it's Cole Young himself. Or should I say Cole MacGuffin, as to what he feels like anyway. And I guess when the barrier gets broken and just all that starts, and when he fights Goro, I'm like, this can't be happening. This is stupid. How they do Kung Lao dirty like that. Do you realize they spent 5 minutes, give him the fatality, and then he gets killed off? And I don't think Liu Kang even cared after that.
No, he mentioned it, but yeah, he wasn't like crying.
Yeah, he mentioned it, but he did nothing else. Not even like, we should go get Shang Tsung. Nope, didn't do that. But out of curiosity, what was the big selling point to this movie? I'd ask Austin. Like, what do you think it was?
Big selling point?
Yeah, what was the big thing about the movie? On the posters and all that stuff. What do you think it was?
Oh, I get what he's getting at.
I don't know. I'll be honest, I haven't seen any of the posters for it.
So
I literally haven't seen like almost anything for the movie before I watched it.
We have Scorpion.
Uh-huh.
To the right, you have Sub-Zero.
Oh, of course. They're banking on that idea. Like, oh yeah, come watch them have the biggest fight, the two rivals for years and years.
The biggest rivalry, other than... I can't even think of one. The biggest rivalry, and I'd say at least fighting games, that's been going on forever. And they advertise it. And all the trailers, as far as I know, I didn't watch them all. It was Scorpion and Sub-Zero always fighting. And you're like, yeah, we're going to get a bunch of these fights. At least one or two, maybe. You get the one at the beginning, where they're not even, the special versions of each other. Except for Bi-Han for some reason. And then you get a 5-minute fight, I'd say, at the very end. Scorpion isn't in the movie until the very end of the movie. And it's insane. But, you get to the very end, and of course Cole Young's there because he has to be. He's the main character and all. And then Scorpion shows up and says, "Do you remember my face?" Call back to the beginning of the movie. Of course, ha ha ha.
There was a couple of callbacks at that part, and some of them I think were more well done than others.
I do like, "Do you remember my face?"
I liked there's a part in the end where Scorpion shot his spear, and he was from the left side of the screen, and it shot and it hit something, it hit a wall behind Sub-Zero, and
I thought it hit Sub-Zero.
No, this is the part I'm talking about. Scorpion shoots the spear, hits the wall behind him, he pulls it back, and Sub-Zero grabs it. which was a callback to the
yeah,
beginning
yeah.
of the movie where
Right.
Scorpion did the same thing. He pulls it back and it scrapes against Sub-Zero's face, which I thought was a nice visual callback. And it's like things like that I think elevate that fight a little more highly in my mind as opposed to Silas's.
Right, when they're not just fighting and there's actually some artistic like thought, some intelligent thought goes into the planning of, you know, how they're going to do it.
Well,
the presentation.
I guess you just call it Chekhov's spear, essentially, wouldn't it?
No, it's more of a callback. Chekhov's Chekhov's
They
spear
didn't
would
use
be.
it till the third act.
Well, yeah, but
Anyway,
that's not
whatever.
that's okay.
That is definitely not the right term.
I think we can all agree at least that during that final sequence before Scorpion shows up, we all had this sinking feeling where it's like, oh, is Cole Young going to turn into
Yes.
Scorpion mid-fight?
I was so convinced, and I was gonna be very upset.
You are
You know what I
dreading
mean?
it.
We were
I
all
was just
dreading
like,
it.
Yeah, I had to like, physically say, I was like, oh no, stuff like that. Like,
I
like,
was gonna
how
start
could
laughing if that happened.
because I was convinced like earlier in the movie that like they might do something with it, or he'd get more Scorpion like powers. And then he had armor, and I was like, well, Scorpion doesn't have like armor like that, so that's really weird. So I was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And then I was like, oh no, they might do it again. You know what I mean? I'm glad they didn't.
I thought at
I
the
feel
very least, the soul of Hanzo was just gonna go into him and be like, "I'm Scorpion," and then he'd just leave.
That's even
But that
dumber.
would've been just as
That
stupid.
would have been so bad. I would have took 2 points away from my rating of the movie. That would have ruined it.
Well, also you had an issue with the Goro fight, as you didn't think it was actually Goro.
I couldn't believe that they would just kill their champion like that.
Well, but
Well,
like
to
they
be
implied
fair,
he wasn't
Johnny
the
Cage killed
champion.
him in the original.
Right.
Like
But wasn't that during the tournament?
No. I don't think so. No, he fought him in like the main hall or whatever, and then it ended up on a cliff. And that's when he broke Johnny Cage's sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
And he said the awesome line that I will always quote is, "Those were $500 sunglasses, asshole."
Mm-hmm.
And then he kicks Goro, and Goro does this stupid like, "Huh?" And then he falls off and dies.
Right, but that's cool.
Well, what was wrong with this
Like
fight?
the way they did it was they literally just used Goro as a plot point to have Cole unlock his Arcana.
well, but like,
That
would
was
you
it.
rather it just be a pointless fight?
I would rather it be a cool fight.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a very cool fight.
Like what I'm getting at is like at
I
least
don't think
fights.
I thought that like if they were going to if that like that was Goro, right? They didn't give him like
He didn't
what
really
he
have a
deserved.
real intro.
Yeah, he
He
didn't
was
really
just
have
there.
what he deserved either though. Like he deserves to be this insane monster type guy who's killing people and everything. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, literally in the original movie, and sorry to keep comparing it, but it's the only comparison I can make, is
Mhm.
Goro in the original movie kills Johnny Cage's best friend, that art guy or whatever.
Yeah.
He kills his best friend, and that's your initiation into Goro. Like, here's this big forearm dude. His buddy Art couldn't beat him up, but Goro just kills him, and you're like, oh, it's Goro. In this movie, it's just, here's Goro.
so
Here, Cole Young is just going to have this
I just-
super heavy plot armor, literally.
so I
and-
thought of something
Just to,
on the spot.
Go ahead,
I
James.
thought of
Go
a
ahead,
fix that you might. I'm gonna run this fix by you, and fix in quotation marks, as I don't know if it would be better or
Mhm.
worse. This change that I would make if I was the one behind the camera. How would you feel if instead of Shang Tsung killing Kung Lao, it was Goro? And
that,
hey, hang on,
Yes.
I'm not done. Hang on.
Okay,
and
okay.
instead of and then later on when they're doing the final matchups, and Goro was not the one sent to go kill Cole, it was somebody else. Just insert random character here. And when they're doing the final matchups, Liu Kang is the one to go fight Goro. How would you feel
Yeah.
about that?
you know, not
I-
only would that be better, that's damn near canonical, except for Kung Lao getting killed by Goro. Because Liu Kang is the one who's supposed to fight Goro. Liu Kang's the main protagonist.
No, it's Cole
Technically in
Young.
the games, anyway. Shut up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like he is supposed to be like the main protagonist, so then they replace him with Cole Young. What your change? I think that would have made the movie a lot better in that regard. You know,
It would make it more justifiable in killing Goro.
But like you could still have Cole Young fight Sub-Zero, who's built up to be the big bad guy
No,
at the
not
end.
Sub-Zero.
No.
Because I need my 5-minute fight with Scorpion.
No, I'm saying keep that
Cole
stuff
Young
the
should have fought
same.
Cabal.
Keep that stuff the same. No, then he's not the main character at that point. Like you gotta have, because Sub-Zero's built up in this movie to be like the big bad guy, the number one under Shang Tsung. And I get why you have to have your quote-unquote main character fight the big bad guy. So that's kind of immovable. We cannot have a situation where Cole Young is not facing off against Sub-Zero at the end. But to alleviate that and to make Liu Kang feel a little more important and to have Kung Lao's death have more of an arc, I think it would have been more impactful to have.
But what about considering when that happened? It was when they were all just like fighting whatever. Shouldn't, instead of Cole Young just being already shipped off to go fight Sub-Zero, who was, I don't even think he was there, or fighting someone else at the very least.
He was fighting Melina.
No, yeah. Fight, not Melina, because that was Sonya Blade's thing. Just fight Cabal for a bit. And that's how he unlocks it, because Cabal's really fast and he kicks his ass.
Well, but I
like,
get,
"Oh."
from playing Devil's Advocate, I get why they have a scene of this otherworldly monster coming in to kill Cole's family. And I don't think anyone else in the cast of characters that was shown would have played that kind of sense of dread as effectively.
They would have had to throw someone else in there, and I think if they were to add a new character into the cast, it could have been
Literally
Baraka.
anybody else.
But yeah, I think Baraka would have been a good monster.
Yeah, he would have been a good jobber to kill off.
Imagine if that scene had less of an action vibe, and it had more of like a horror vibe with like this monster chasing down his family, stabbing through walls. You know.
Well, at that point, why don't you go for Reptile?
What was that, Jaden?
Why, at that point, if you want like a horror scene, why don't you go for Reptile?
Reptile was
because they already did that.
Well, but
Reptile.
what I'm getting at is if we're changing some of it, why not change the whole thing? Like I feel like we're straying too far from the original, like, because yeah, we can rewrite it and write it like from the beginning with our things in mind, but just in terms of small tweaks, I don't know.
Right.
Like
small tweaks, get rid of Goro.
No, I don't.
Switch
I don't think
Goro
you can
with
do that.
anyone else.
I do not think you could do that effectively because, like I said, you have to have some kind of monster appear from the shed to add this sense of dread. But then what do you do with Goro?
Don't have him in the movie.
Yeah, he comes in the second movie.
You can't just have a Mortal Kombat movie without Goro. I
You
think
100% can.
You will next that movie if they make a new one.
I mean, you can't have the first movie of a series without Goro.
You can.
I know. I get what you're saying.
It sucks that that's true, but
Yeah.
you definitely could if you tease Goro.
No, he's like the third most recognizable character in Mortal Kombat. You can't just
And
not
just-
have Goro.
It sounds like we're absolutely tearing into this movie, but we're really not.
We're doing it from a place of love.
No, yeah, because we're all like really into Mortal
do not
Kombat.
get me wrong. The first half of this movie is super good.
I was the opposite.
Jade will always disagree with that.
I thought the first half of the movie was slow, and it didn't pick up until the end. And even though there's tons of plot holes and dumb plot points, it was way more enjoyable and kind of what I was expecting and wanting from a movie like this.
See, I'm glad they shown some restraint. Because
I didn't think it was slow at all.
Like I was expecting like fucking fight after fight after fight. As much as I do want to see Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight, and as shitty as that 5-minute fight is, it should have at least just been Cole Young shouldn't have been there, or at the very least incapacitated.
No,
and
but
Scorpion
you can't do
shows up
that.
and saves the day.
Getting comic relief with Kano was what really made the first half like really good.
If Kano wasn't there, that first half would have slogged so bad because you just have Cole Young and Sonya Blade, and it's like,
Right,
because
like they wrote that in there, like they're trying to be serious, and then you have Kano throwing jokes in the background, you know.
Yeah, like just in the background, he's just like, what the fuck, and you're like, yeah, Kano, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He worked, and then he stops showing up, and then gets murdered.
Cole Young asked Sonya if she's got a symbol, and she said no, I don't, and he's like, wah. like that's perfect.
Yeah, Kano made the movie. I think that's a universal. I think pretty much everyone's in agreement, not only amongst us, but among pretty much most people that have seen this movie, is that Kano is great. Cole Young doesn't really add much. He's kind of
I feel bad
a blank slate. It's not the actor's fault.
Something with him.
It's not the actor's fault, I don't think. I think
the writer.
I think just having a blank character like this, that whose only defining character trait is I love my family, and
not just that, he's related to Hanzo Hisashi.
But that's not a character trait. That's just like,
it's basically how they put it.
But like that's not like a defining like personality. Like he's kind of a blank slate in this movie.
Like Jaden's right. Like his whole thing is he's just there for his family. He's so accepting of all of this only because his family was threatened. That's it.
That
the
is
only reason he's there. The only reason he's there is because his family was threatened. That's it.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes, and then no one even knew where they were.
Yeah, like he could be dead, and then his family wouldn't be threatened anymore.
I know.
It'd be okay. Okay.
No, but you don't want to die. Like no, that's
right. You don't. I get. Yeah.
That's a nihilist in both of you saying, why doesn't Cole just kill himself and not have to put his family in jeopardy? No, you can't do it.
Sacrifice himself.
The idea is that it's solvable by like his what's it called? His conflict. My family's in danger. It's solvable by his death.
Well,
that's
not just
super
that.
morbid.
My family's in danger.
What are you guys talking
that
about?
was immediately dealt with. All right, they're safe now for 90% of this movie until Goro showed up. As soon as I got home, then they were immediately in danger. At the very least, be like, I can never be with my family again.
Well,
or whatever.
So, playing devil advocate once again, the villains very much made it clear they didn't care for killing people without the tattoos, or not the tattoos, the mark.
Yeah, Melina did that.
Melina did that to Sonya. So they're not just killing for killing's sake. Like
so his family would have been safe.
No, they wasn't, because Cole already ran away. It was the only way to force him out. If he was already in the arena beforehand, they didn't bother him, because like they didn't need to, because he was already there. But if he's not there, they kind of have to force him out and force him into action. So they go to his house.
So you're saying it's Cole's fault?
It's his fault for running away, yes.
And
so he should have never went home to his family.
Well,
I think Raiden kind of did that on purpose too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Because he's like,
Raiden probably knowing Raiden
this way.
Yeah, knowing Raiden, he's like, yeah, I can tell that. He's like, go be with your family. He knew exactly what he was doing. He said they're gonna attack your family, and you're gonna get your stuff from there. Raiden's
this is also
Raiden's the bad guy of Mortal Kombat.
No, he is.
He's probably the most competent version of Raiden I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, this Raiden opens a whole can of worms by implying that he was the one that resurrected Scorpion at the end.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I missed that too.
Yeah, no.
I think he just said he went to the Nether Realm or whatever.
No, Liu Kang or Cole, somebody went up to Raiden at the end, and they said, "I thought you weren't allowed to interact directly with the tournament." He's like, "Well, it wasn't directly." And like it was kind of implied that he was the one that resurrected Scorpion and brought him back.
Oh, I missed that.
Because Quan Chi's not in this movie, and there's no mention of him. So who resurrected Scorpion? Did he just will himself out of hell? No.
That would make sense. No, but that would make sense though, because Raiden never he didn't do anything during the battles or anything. He was gone.
Like,
he teleported them away, you know.
That's at least my interpretation of it. I don't know if that's right or not.
It could be. It could be that he was just asking about like them teleporting away or something. Who knows? You know.
I think it's straight up because Scorpion just randomly shows up. There's no like lightning stuff. So he probably literally either just clawed his way out because he probably could see everything going on. At the very least, that's what I think. Or Quan Chi just said, "Hey, Sub-Zero's messing with your, ancestor there.
Your
You go
descendant.
kill him. Or your descendant,
But yeah.
whatever. His descendant, and he's like, you should go kill him because I know that's what you want to do, right? And he's like, yeah, I should go do that because, at the time, Quan Chi was using the living hell out of Scorpion because he knew he could, and that was his only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why in the second movie, if we even get more Scorpion, which we probably won't, at least
No, we will.
not a lot of
We have
screen
to.
time.
We have to.
Yeah.
I'm shocked no one has made the argument online, as far as I've seen, about how little Scorpion and Sub-Zero actually fight.
Well, that's the first and last fight of the movie.
Yeah, they fought like 10 minutes total out of
Yeah.
an hour
It's
and
not
45-minute
terrible.
runtime.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah, but his actual, in costume, it was 5 minutes.
But you can't just
It's
exclude.
still
You can't just
Scorpion and
exclude.
That's
Sub-Zero.
how
the
they
stuff at the
advertise
beginning.
the movie, though.
No, but
The
that's
Yeah.
posters, it
I
was
think-
Scorpion
I
and
know.
Sub-Zero. The trailers, it was
they're
Scorpion
just
and
using it
Sub-Zero.
and they
because
fought for
That's what I wanted
5
to
minutes.
see.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
I wanted more!
That's a sign
The
of good
best fight in
filmmaking. If
this
you wanted
movie
more.
was the beginning of this movie. I didn't need Cole Young at the end of the fucking movie getting involved and ruining it. Stabbing Sub-Zero. What the... Why was he there? Other than just
'Cause
so
he was running after his
Scorpion could
family.
show up. I don't care about his family.
And with that,
Yeah,
if
let's-
you guys don't have any closing thoughts on that part, I feel like we should move on to Jaden's segment.
Yeah, I'm tired of listening to Silas complain about Scorpion versus Sub-Zero.
I will say this, I still like the movie a lot.
I think we can all
Yes.
agree it's a
If you
fun
haven't seen
movie.
it, go see it.
And yes, go see it.
Next, we have something I like to call "Why didn't we invent this years ago?" So, basically, the concept is I am going to present some weird technology invented, it's invented within the last few years or further, or whenever I find it, and I think it's stuff that I think is cool. And the one I have today is from a company called Neuralink. It's founded by Elon Musk.
Oh,
Mm.
God.
And
I already know where this is
recently,
going.
do you? Recently, a few weeks
maybe.
ago, they posted a video claiming that this monkey was playing the video game Pong with his mind. And
What?
naturally, I wanted to look more into this. So I watched the video, I read some articles. So basically what they do, I'll kind of paint you a picture here. Basically, they have this, he's a macaw, so he's kind of big, and he's 9 years old, and they put, chips into his brain. And they gave him a little joystick and a little, feeder thing. And there's a screen in front of him, and he would play Pong. And he would control it with the joystick at first. And if he did well, he would get food from the little feeding stick. So he would sit there with the joystick and control and play Pong. And he would do that for a while, and then eventually the chips in his brain that they implanted learned and picked up the signals for his moving his hand and whatnot. And it picked up oh, this means up, this means down, yada yada yada. And they connected the chips to the computer, and his inputs would be read like that. And they disconnected the joystick but left the joystick there. So he would still play Pong and move the joystick, but the joystick wasn't actually doing anything. It was the brain. And then eventually they just got rid of the joystick, and it's a monkey sitting there sucking on this feeding tube playing Pong. And I don't know if this is true or not. It seems plausible. I have no reason to doubt it. Because I know I've looked up, I know they do a lot of brain stuff with monkeys, and it seems plausible to me. And I think one of the cool things is the applications for this. Say you've lost an arm or a leg or whatnot, you can use brain waves to control electronics.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about a monkey playing Pong with his mind sucking on a little feeding tube?
Why do you have a feeding tube?
It's to encourage him. Because if he
Yeah,
wouldn't,
so-
why would he play Pong if he wasn't getting rewarded?
Yeah. It's not like a feeding tube. Like a feeding tube is in his mouth.
No,
right?
it's like a little like straw, and it's like dripping
okay.
like banana juice or something dumb out of it.
Why not just sitting there with him and just give him a banana every time he scores?
But he might not correlate that. You
Yeah,
can't just sit with him and say, "Good job, monkey."
Yeah, there has to be
you
no
scored.
human
Here's a
interaction.
banana. Keep scoring.
No, he's
I
not.
want to know,
he's a
but
dumb
how did
monkey.
they teach him to play Pong?
He would just use the control
Torture.
stick, and he learned if he did certain things and like picked up with the screen, like made it so the ball didn't go in, he would get rewarded.
Mm-hmm. That is cool. Okay, I like that a lot. Actually,
Because
so they put chips in his brain though, like they performed surgery on his brain.
I
and put
think
stuff
so.
in him. Okay, so that's where we're getting to that point. Like, would we be able to create a way that you don't have to put something in your brain?
No, that is never going to happen. You're going to get a chip in your brain if you want to be smarter, because I will absolutely do that.
It's not about being smarter. It's about controlling things with your brain.
If you can make
'Cause they're not actually-
monkey
it's not like he's-
plays Pong, that means they made him smarter.
No, it does not.
Or
First
they
of all,
tortured him into
it
playing
means
Pong.
that the monkey had the intellectual capacity to play Pong in the first place, but he may not realize he's playing in a game for entertainment purposes. He knows that he just gets food if he makes the ball go on the right side of the plate.
yeah, he's
That's
getting
it.
because
That's
well,
all he knows.
that's why you play video games to get that sweet dopamine reward.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
we
he's
do that
doing
too,
it for
but
banana
we relate
smoothies.
it more to entertainment. You know, he doesn't find that like the game itself is entertaining. He doesn't get the dopamine from the game. He gets the dopamine from the banana.
From the
smoothie.
banana smoothie.
Yeah.
From his bananas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's literally, it
So-
says here it's a banana smoothie from a metal
And
straw.
that's
So hang on, how often is it a continuous smoothie that he's
Probably every
getting?
time
No, it's when he does
constantly?
well. It's when he does well.
So
Probably
he
every
only
time he
gets fed
scores.
when he wins.
Yeah.
Well, that's a snack. It's not like they don't feed. It's not like they put him
Yeah,
in
they're gonna
chains and they
feed
say, "We
him."
don't feed you if you don't play Pong, monkey." Like,
Well,
no, he would not
I
live
guarantee
long.
that's exactly how it went for
No.
a while. They're like, we're not going to feed him if he doesn't score. We'll feed him when he scores. That way he knows scoring is how you get
They
food.
no, they probably feed him something that's less desirable than a banana smoothie because
Well,
I want a
shit.
banana smoothie. No, like
No.
I don't
like
know, leaves
food.
and bugs and whatnot. I don't know.
Whatever monkeys eat.
Yeah,
That's probably pretty desirable to a monkey at that point.
but compared to banana smoothie,
Well, I mean, everyone would love a banana smoothie.
that's what I'm saying. If I hooked you
You
up,
put me in a stupid chair with chips in my brain and I get a banana smoothie anytime I score, I'm going to be wanting that banana smoothie.
that's exactly what we're saying though. That's what monkey does.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
So
how
you're
much
saying
you feed
I'm
him
smart
I
for
don't know
as a
what your
monkey?
argument is.
No,
Silas.
I'm not saying that either, and I will never imply that you are smarter than a monkey. Don't take words out of my mouth. I'm saying that you can get these results without starving this monkey to death and whipping him. Like, you don't have to abuse the monkey. Because I did see
Right.
a video years and years ago, and I'm never going to use it for one of these segments, but it was something similar where they tied this monkey down into a chair and he used his brain to wheel the chair around, and the goal was for him to get across the room to a bowl of grapes. And I hate this video because it's so inhumane, because they it's like they bolted this like metal helmet into his brain and it looks so uncomfortable, and he's also
Did it
like
work?
tied down and he like can't move. Yeah, it worked. He can move the chair with his brain, but like
Well, that's the thing is like, so.
It looks like
I-
science succeeds today.
I'm getting this. Yeah, I'm getting this right, but don't mistake this with they were giving a monkey brain powers. This is the intellectual
I
capacity.
never insinuated brain
This,
powers.
yeah,
as
this
much
is the
as I love
intellectual
it.
capacity of the brain of the monkey originally. Any animal could probably do this,
Yeah,
right?
no.
As long as their brain can create first of all, a response to outside stimuli such as food. They can problem solve and realize that things can do that. A lot of animals can do this. And third, if their brain is capable of creating impulses that chips can read.
no, yeah, it's
That's
the
all that's
impulses that is
required.
the most important part.
Yeah, the impulse is it. So the monkey's not. He is playing it with his brain, but he doesn't know that. You know what I mean? And he's not. It's not like he's moving the ball or the Pong game with his brain powers.
Well,
you know?
Is he
technically
moving it with
is.
his brain?
He
He's
technically
just
is.
thinking about it.
But
He's
that's
just
using.
thinking
So
about
he's-
But that's his brain.
That's literally brain powers.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not the same as like Psychonaut type
That's
stuff, you know.
quite literally damn near what that is.
I think it's super cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would like to see like us.
Austin,
make a
well, are
way
you
where we don't have
complaining
to
because
put-
he has a chip in his mind that's doing it? You want him to
Yes.
play Pong? You want him to use
You
magic
want him to
powers?
somehow learn psychokinesis?
Yeah, you want him to use
I want
psychokinesis
to-
to pick up
no.
an Atari joystick and move it up and down?
I want to see
That's
us.
not Gorilla Grodd, dude.
I want to see us progress and get to the point where we don't need to surgically implant something into your brain to make it happen.
But that's
just want
the
us to
next
be-
step in humanity.
Yeah, we can't do that.
But you could put like a hat on.
Do you
Bruh.
not believe in cybernetics?
No,
I-
he believes in cybernetics. He doesn't want them. He wants to have the mind powers without all the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Do I have a game series for you?
Without having to have a microchip in your brain.
I want a microchip. If it means I cannot pick up a controller and play a game, because I am willing to
as
be
long
that
as it's, like,
lazy.
of your choice. If you want a microchip in your brain, you could get one. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't get a microchip in your brain.
If it
I
means
would
can play a
replace
game
my arm
as
with
good
a
as a
robot
monkey.
arm. You know, I would probably replace an eye with robot eyes. Who knows?
I would 100% do that.
I think we'd probably all would. Jaden, what would you say?
I want to be a
Would you
cyborg.
replace-
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all just nerds, and that's what we would do. No, I liked it a lot. I just wish it was like a little bit less invasive with the whole microchip thing.
But like,
That's-
like you
I
like
know,
looking at this
I
monkey, you
know.
can't even tell. Like,
I know.
I don't know if he feels pain or not. I'm sure if it ever
Right.
gets to human trials, it would.
Are you saying he doesn't have pain receptors like normal
No, I'm
humans,
saying
like spiders?
No,
I'm
monkeys
saying the
definitely
chips
do.
aren't that invasive. Like, I mean, yeah, they're invasive
Right.
in the fact that they're in the mind, like they're touching the brain. But like, I don't know if you can. It's not like you have a constant itch on your brain that's like, oh, these chips. I gotta like they're so annoying. I don't think you
just
could tell.
The fact that they had to put the monkey under and perform surgery on him to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
but
you
like
say
think
we should go the route of
so-
gas?
think of like you are somebody that's lost an arm. Would you
Yes.
be willing to go if somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, we can give you a robotic arm, but you have to go under and we have to open up your skull and attach this chip." Would you be willing to do that?
I would
Yeah.
say you had me at robotic arm.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd say, "Cut off my arm and give it to me now. Cut off my other
Yeah,
arm."
I don't
Yeah.
even need to lose arms. Just
Not
cut
even
both my arms
kidding.
off. Give me robot arms. I don't care if you put a chip in my brain.
Yeah,
But that
I would sign up for that.
Yeah, I think because I think ultimately what I'm getting at is that the chip isn't that big of a deal, like in the grand scheme of things for what it can accomplish. Like, yeah, this
Right.
poor monkey. I feel bad for the monkey because he didn't really have a choice. But
That's generally where I was going for. You know, this poor monkey had an invasive surgery that he was. You know, and that kind of
Well, I
gets to the
mean-
point of like of harming an organism. You know.
So you're against the whole like animal testing
No.
thing?
Well, not exactly.
well, this one wasn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
the
As long as it's to the good of like mankind, there's.
If it's to benefit us, then yes.
Yeah,
I know, I think-
generally yeah. I mean,
no. I think
because
that's
there's a lot of things you could get away with that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's
People
wrong.
did
I
that
think
for a long time.
if you treat the animal well, I think because like there's a difference like because this banana
Humanely.
or this monkey seems like he's enjoying his
I bet me some
banana.
good banana juice.
He looks happy and content, and I'm sure he's being treated well, or I hope he's being treated well.
He's not being
Mhm.
treated well. You know
But
he's
like
not.
the other monkey I mentioned, the one tied down to the chair,
He was not.
he was
yeah.
not treated well, and like I feel bad for that monkey. Like that's where like I kind of draw the line of how do you like, yeah, he didn't choose to be a test subject, but you treat him well.
Right.
I'm of the mind that the monkey with the giant thing on his head, like, how big was the thing on the
It was like
tied down
it was
monkey?
huge. I'll have to show it to you later. I'm not gonna
Is
like,
it like the thing Doc Brown was wearing?
it's like it's. I'll show it to you later. I don't want to post a picture of it because I don't want to give this thing like attention because it's so horrid. But I'll show it to you later. It's like
Yeah,
a
it
big
probably
like he looks like
it probably looks
Brainiac.
like some weird Frankenstein's monkey.
No,
or
yeah,
something.
he looks like Brainiac. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that
Okay.
monkey back then was probably enjoying it. He's getting some grapes out of it. He's getting fed if he succeeds. What's the
He's not
difference?
enjoying it. Okay. I think that is Is there any closing thoughts to that, Jaden?
Nope. I think that's it. I have
think
for
I'm pretty
the
good at
monkey.
that. Yeah. Okay. So in total, does anybody have anything they would like to say before we end the podcast today?
A quick mention
Yeah.
in Silas's Corner here. I am reading a book known as Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. And if you're a fan of the movie, you should be a fan of this book. If you are interested in the book, I highly recommend it. As far as I've gotten, I haven't finished it yet. I'm working on it. But from what I've read, I would highly recommend this book. It is fantastic.
Is this the original book that was?
It is
written?
inspired by the movie. Yes.
Oh, it's inspired by the movie.
Or, sorry, the movie is inspired by the book.
Okay, so the book came first.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
If you want to see a subpar director turn that fantastic book into a movie, notice Steven Spielberg. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
No.
He's a very poor director.
Oh yeah.
But I highly recommend it. The book, anyway. You can watch Jurassic Park movie if you want.
Sounds good. Yeah, I might have to look into that later. I know I have a couple other books that I'm reading right now, but
It even has visual aids for those
visual
of you who are
aids. Well, you sold me.
interested. So you get some nice pictures of DNA. Unfortunately, of course, there is no Mr. DNA in the book, so
Oh,
it might be a slight percentage.
best character of the whole movie, man. I don't know if
I
I'm gonna
know,
watch
right?
it now. Okay, well, everybody, thanks for joining us over here at Bucket Crab Breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed your time. Listen to us argue and
It wasn't that
talk about
ramble
things
on.
that-
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
As I was
No.
expecting more arguing. I'm sure we'll get there. But
Oh yeah, when we get more comfortable.
Give us
on
1
here.
week.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be it. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Sundays are when we're planning on doing this.
is this when we're releasing it?
Yeah, when do we release the podcast?
Don't put days on it. You idiot.
Okay.
Don't promise
Okay, well, we
anything.
can just-
Never
we'll just edit
promise
that out.
anything.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, click, 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 click.